I love you, Prez. I'm doing good. And I don't know what day of the week it is. I keep getting moved around here on my guest appearance. So it's Tuesday.
Point favorite in a game where the total's 120 and a half. Not many points expected. What do you want to do with the Blue Raiders and the Gales this evening?
Well, I'll be singing the praises of the Gales in this one, and it's all about that defense for St. Mary's, and that's why you've got such a low total in this one. First off, Middle Tennessee State, they're going to be playing for the first time in 10 days. Sometimes that's tough to have that long layoff, and we see it in the month of December a lot. You know, it's finals weeks and stuff, and some kids still actually do go to school. So, facing a team that plays a tenacious defense like St. Mary's does, that's going to be tough for this Middle Tennessee State team. And if you look at the strength of schedule, Middle Tennessee State has played a much softer schedule than St. Mary's has played. They've played a pretty good out of conference schedule, including last Saturday night. They played the UNLV Running Rebels, the same Running Rebels that just upset eighth ranked Creighton here in Vegas the game before. Now, if you look at that game, St. Mary's had a struggle in that one, and they played a very poor game. They had just 31% shooting in that game. They were just one of 19 from 3 point range. Foul shooting was horrendous as well, 18 of 31. They didn't play for a week prior to that game, and they were playing that game in Arizona at a neutral site, one of these little holiday tournaments that we get this time of the year. I always love them. Four teams go play, but nobody wins the tournament because they don't play a second day. But what you had in that game, and it showed a lot of moxie by this St. Mary's team, and that goes to the schedule that they've played in the old saying of been there and done that. They had three starters foul out in that game, and yet we're still able to regain their composure after blowing an 11-point lead, having the game go into overtime, go into a second overtime, and they found a way to win the game. I think back at home tonight, you've got Middle Tennessee State traveling across country to play on the West Coast after not playing for 10 days. This is just a horrible spot for them. I am going to lay it. And as you say, Teddy, if I'm playing, I'm laying, and I am laying it in this one, buddy. I think they win this one by 20 points.
So I've had St. Mary's on my card in each of the last two ball games. I got a win out of them at Colorado State in a game where they couldn't hit a three-pointer and they couldn't hit a free throw. And then last time out against UNLV, I had them again. And once again, they couldn't hit a shot. They couldn't hit a three-pointer. They couldn't hit a free throw. Didn't cover. When we look at their offensive numbers, right now they're ranked number 280 in field goal percentage, number 347 out of 362 college basketball teams in three-point percentage, and from the free throw line, 355. All right. There's only 7 teams in all of college basketball that have shot worse than the 61% St. Mary's has shot from the charity stripe this season. This team can't put the biscuit in the basket, and you want to lay 15 points with them. Aren't you worried about their lack of offense?
I'm worried. The only thing that you said there that I do have some concern is late in the game, if we are with that 20-point lead and they start fouling them, which generally in a big game, you're not going to foul down the stretch. So with a big lead. So that eliminates that concern for me. And Teddy, I go back again to the strength of schedule that they played. They played some decent out-of-conference teams. Utah, Boise State, Cleveland State is a team that can be pesky. We know, out of the Horizon Conference. They played Colorado State on the road in the altitude. it's not like they've played cupcakes. All right. You go down and look at the Middle Tennessee State schedule, and there are cupcakes there. I think they get separation. If you want to prevent that backdoor concern, you could split this wager up, a first half and a second half wager, and go half and half. I have no problem with that either. But I don't think the foul shooting is going to be a concern. And I think the defense they're facing tonight, much softer. They're going to find the bottom of the bucket more times tonight.
Marco D'Angelo joining us, everyone. Marco, we're gonna get into customer appreciation day, and then we're going to move on to your next play, which is Buffalo at LA playing the Chargers. Before we get into that, I want to read a comment put up in the comment section yesterday from user blah blah blah. He writes, "What the hell is your?" So I say the word your. That's how I say it. He writes, "Where are you from, Prez? Speak frickin' English, for God's sake. How can anyone take you and your pick seriously when you can't even speak basic English?" There's so much to unpack there, but given that I love Americans, I'm going to not unpack most of it, even though you guys have actually changed the English language. I am from South Africa. I have an accent. I am not going to be able to change that. That is the way it works. And as far as how do you take a person who's a handicapper seriously if they can't speak basic English? Pavlov's is number one at WagerTalk.com in net profit by far. He's Spanish. Might be Portuguese. I think he's Spanish. Whatever the case, he doesn't speak proper English. What does proper English have to do with picking? So on that note, it's Customer Appreciation Day. And we are greatly appreciative of all of you guys. Honest to God, you guys log into these shows every day. You watch it. We provide so much content. You're with us all the way through. We're so appreciative. We love the comments, negative and positive. We feel like we're all together in this. And what we've done, and we do this every week, but we do something different, is I got a sneeze coming. Every handicapper pulled out one play, $2 today. I have an NBA play up. It's $2. Teddy, you have an NBA play up, right? It's $2.
I do.
And Marco,
yes.
Marco, what do you got going for our Customer Appreciation Day?
I've got a college basketball play going today, and it's for $2, and we're going for 7 in a row. And Prez, to the viewer that put that comment, me being from Pittsburgh, we have our own language. It's called Yinzer language, and we say Yuns. Okay, so there's different words for different parts of the country.
Yeah.
It's all good, guys. It has nothing to do with W's and L's. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, Pavlos is Greek. There you go. Thank you, Big Blue Jays. So, guys, in all seriousness, if you've never purchased from us before, we got a lot of guys that are really rolling right now. Marco is rolling. Teddy's NBA is unbelievable. I'm on a 7-3 NBA run. It's only $2 to buy our play. It comes with analysis. You'll find out how we write, how we think, etc., etc. We're doing this on a regular basis, but today is special because you guys can go buy 10 different handicappers for only $20. Take advantage of this. And in all seriousness, lots of love from us at WagerTalk.com. We are nothing without our clients, our customers, our listeners, and our viewers. Marco, speaking of nothing, that to me is the Chargers. I wrote this game up last night. I'm going to be taping the NFL presidential address tomorrow. We had Brian Leonard on yesterday, and I think it was Brian that likes the Chargers. You do as well. I don't get it. Teddy had a great follow-up yesterday talking about how Buffalo wins by margin when they win. Tell us why we should bet this team that I think is quit, ready to call it a year, ready to move on, and frankly, hopefully ready to move to Toronto.
All right. Well, if a certain guy was still on the sidelines, I would not be anywhere near this particular play. And the play starts with the firing of Brandon Staley. This is an angle that has worked in every pro sport for years and years and years. We've already saw it this year with the Raiders when they fired Josh McDaniel. You get that spark that first week, and sometimes it carries over, and you ride that team until they lose with after they fire a coach. Why? Well, one of two things. Either the team didn't like the coach, didn't buy into what he was selling, whatever, lost the locker room. When the coach is fired, you get that instant spark where the team is going to want to perform. They also are going to want to perform because with the coach being gone, if the team still sucks, well, then that puts the spotlight directly on the players, and it's their fault, not maybe necessarily the coach's fault. Also, let's talk about what happened last week to these Chargers. They were absolutely embarrassed on Thursday Night Football against the Raiders. National TV, everybody saw it. It was 42-0 before you blinked your eye, and that was as bad as it gets. Let's start with the saying I always give you guys. Nobody is as bad as their worst game, nor are they as good as their best game. We saw that from both of these teams last week. We saw the worst of the Chargers. We also probably saw the best of the Buffalo Bills. And speaking of best, the Buffalo Bills are the best 8-6 team in the NFL. I'm not going to dispute that. But guys, they're coming off a monster win last week. Look at the schedule that they have played. This will be their third road game in the last four. Playing at Philadelphia, at Kansas City, and then last week at home to Dallas. Those are three powerhouse teams, big games, marquee games, and because of some early season losses by Buffalo, every game has become important to them to make the wild card. Are they going to totally look past the Chargers? No, because they need to win. But you cannot tell me they're going to have the same intensity this week that they had last week. And everybody knows that Justin Herbert is out. Easton Stick, nobody knew who he was, and he started the game off horrible last week. But once he settled in, and remember, he was making his first start on national TV on a short week. That's never easy for anybody. But once he settled in, he was 23 of 32 passing, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Yes, I know, Teddy, before you grill me, they were in prevent defense in the second half with a 42-0 lead, but it got him some confidence. I'm going to take the Chargers here. They're on a nationally televised game again, being on Saturday night. Buffalo's got to travel on a short week. The Chargers have extra prep time from Thursday to Saturday, and Easton Stick, more importantly, has extra prep time. Give me the Chargers. Will they win this game? No. Will they cover this game? Yes. I'm taking the Chargers plus the points.
So one of the things I talked about yesterday was throwing out all the stats from the blowout games. This is a game that was 42-0 at halftime, and any statistics you're looking at the Chargers and say, okay, well, they played better. They didn't play better. They played a defense that wasn't interested anymore. How do you approach statistics from blowout games? Is that something that you take, that you look at and say, we want to weight these heavily? Are these something that you want to look at and say, well, there was only a 50 yardage differential between the Raiders and the Chargers last week, therefore the final score was misleading? When it comes to the blowout games and the statistics from the blowouts, how do you approach that, Marco?
I don't look at the second half, Teddy, because you're absolutely right. The second half stats are meaningless in a blowout game. And I know a lot of
But you were just quoting
that when
the second half stats from Easton Stick. You get it all in the second half. That was part of your handicap, was looking at those stats.
How mad Teddy looks. Like
No,
Marco,
Teddy, what
it's
I
like,
said is
it's
it
like
got
you
him-
insulted his child or something. Oh, Teddy, man, breathe. It's Customer Appreciation Day, bro.
I appreciate the customers. I just want to get to the bottom of Marco's analysis here.
My analysis is that what I said is it got him confidence and got him in a rhythm. Yes, you're 100% right. The stats are meaningless. But the flip side of this is, Teddy, if you're the Buffalo Bills, you're coming off that demolition of the Dallas Cowboys last week on national TV, and you saw the Thursday night game. How are you totally prepared for this team? You saw them quit last week on national TV. You saw them get embarrassed. That's what I'm playing. It's the market. You buy low, sell high. That's what I'm going with. And this is just too many points for the Buffalo Bills, given the schedule that I laid out to them and given what they have left to do to get into the playoffs. I could see them playing this game, just playing it not to lose, instead of playing it to win. And that's not what you want to do, laying double digits on the road, which the Buffalo Bills have not been the same team all year on the road that they have at home.
Marco, I'm not buying what you are selling, but that's okay. I'm not going to bet the Bills for my clients. But I mean, from my perspective, I think, I'll tell you right now, 31-13 should be the score of this game. Be very surprised if the Chargers put up more than 13 points. This Bills defense is unbelievable. I just don't see where the points are coming from.
Lawrence, we try to ask follow-up questions that get to something that concerns us. What we don't try to do is give our opinion on every game and tell what the final score is going to be and tell the guest that his opinion's wrong. That's what we try not to do.
Thank you for teaching me, Teddy. Thank you.
Sure.
Now, Marco, so Teddy was mad at you for your breakdown. He's mad at me for giving my opinion, even though I do this for a living. And and his follow-up questions never, ever suggest that the guest might be wrong, ever. And by the way, Teddy, I got a lot of good compliments on my follow-up question yesterday. So bite me.
All right.
Okay.
Prez, before I go, I just have to say, this is why we truly appreciate the customers, because even after enduring you and Teddy, they still hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you to everybody out there. That's why we appreciate you.
Well, I don't think they have to endure me, Marco. I think Teddy is who they have. The old grumpy, decrepit man in the middle. Marco D'Angelo, everyone, grab his $2 Tuesday play. You're going for 8 in a row, right?
7 in a row, sir. Read Slack.
Yeah, so 8 in a row tomorrow after you win tonight. Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Okay, miserable man. What did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
I'm not miserable at all, man. I went 2-0 last night. The clients are smiling. I'm smiling. And I want to talk about the Super Bowl odds, in particular, the NFC odds to win the NFC. Right now, Westgate Superbook numbers. I got San Fran at 3-2 to win the Super Bowl. Baltimore 11-2. KC 7-1. Dallas, Buffalo, Miami, Philly at 12-1. Detroit at 20-1. Jacksonville at 30-1. That's a big spread. It's San Fran and everybody else. And really, you go San Fran and then Baltimore, KC, Dallas, Buffalo, Miami, Philly. That's it. Everyone else is a long shot, a real long shot. And the Niners, clear favorites right now. What did we see last night? Well, we saw Philly lose another game. San Fran already blew out Dallas. You can't trust Dallas anyway. The Cowboys aren't going on the road and beating good teams. They haven't done it all year. And Dak Prescott's got a career's worth of playoff failures. San Fran already blew out Philly in Philly, and Philly showed us in Seattle again last night. They're not a great team. They're not as good as last year's team. Detroit, look, they're 20-1. All right, behind all those other teams. Lions are a good team. They're a playoff team. Any Lions fans will tell you they're not going to the Super Bowl. Defense is good enough, and Goff is still dicey versus a good defense. No, it's San Fran out of the NFC. Find me their weakness. Either side of the football. They're a hungry team. It feels like their year. And right now, I'll take San Fran versus the field in the NFC. I'll lay a price with San Fran versus the field in the NFC. No questions asked. And that means NFC is likely to be the favorite in the Super Bowl. The 49ers going to be -3 against anybody from the AFC. Something worth noting. Talked about a little bit on the NFL opening line report yesterday when it came to future book odds. San Fran, my clear choice. And if they do make it, they'll be chalk all the way through. Something to think about when it comes to futures betting and betting week by week. 49ers, once again, even though they didn't play last night, Lawrence, 49ers showed their dominance last night, with Philly going down. And when it comes to bad beats, just real quick, don't worry. I'll talk about what happened with ODU in Western Kentucky yesterday, but we got to wait till bad beats, bad bets for next Monday. I did not want to take the whole show and talk about what just happened yesterday with one of the most brutal beats.
Just
in
talk
modern
about
bowl
it,
history.
man. Like, what guy, that's like sitting around with your buddies. Oh my God, I met a girl last night. It was incredible. I can't tell you anything about it, but it was the most spectacular night of my life. I'll tell you in 6 days. Just go, man. Just tell us now. Tell us now, Teddy.
It was a bad beat. The end.
Okay. Great
I'll prep it
setup
up for
for a
Monday's
really
show.
bad story. Teddy covers everybody. So Teddy, San Fran is minus 110. That's it. You're not laying a whole lot of chalk.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
minus
San Fran
110.
versus the field. I'll take San Fran versus the field right now.
It makes a lot of sense to me. Ronald Cabang joining us, everyone. It's Customer Appreciation Day. Ronald, what do you have going for our clients today, my friend?
Yeah, the $2 Customer Appreciation Day play is an NBA play. I also have a secondary NBA play and a college basketball play. So three plays up for premium for the clients right now. So that's what's going on over at WagerTalk. Things are going really well, man. I think the number one in the NBA the last 3 and 7 days, hitting over 61% over, I think it's like the last 35 days. So NBA has been treating me well right now.
Wonderful stuff, Ronald Cabang. Let's get to it. Celtics and Warriors, the total 233. Are we going over or under?
I'm actually looking at the under in this one. I think the total is going in the wrong direction. I believe it opened up at 231.5. I had a feeling the number was going to go up. But if you look at the Celtics team, they've been dominant all season long from a win-loss perspective, 20-5 on the season. They're on a 5-game winning streak, covering 4 of them. But this is the first road game off a 5-game homestand, though. So they're traveling pretty much cross-country with a day of rest. And then they have a game tomorrow against the Kings, then close out the road trip with the Clippers and Lakers. So to me, this is a tough schedule spot for them. But at least, all 4 road games are in California there. On the Warriors side, 12-14 on the season. They are on a 2-game winning streak, but this is the 12th straight game with travel. They've either been on the road or went home for a single game. And this is also the 3rd game in 4 nights, so another tough spot here for the home team. So both teams, tough travel spot, tough schedule spot. The good thing for the Warriors, though, is they don't have to play until Friday against the Wizards, so not much of a look ahead or anything like that. A couple of injury things to note. Porzingis, he looks to be a true game time decision. Luke Cornett is out. Draymond he's going to be out for the next few weeks. And then Chris Paul, he's questionable with a non-COVID illness, but looking at the numbers for the Celtics team, especially on the road here from a spread perspective, I mean, they've been struggling, but a lot of it has to do with their offense on the road. If we look at them specifically, last 8 road games, 3-5 straight up, 1-7 and against the spread, they've gone under their team total in 7 of their last 8 road games, and that includes 2 overtime games as well. Both of those games that went to OT, they struggled to get over their number. The Warriors on their side, they've been extremely inconsistent lately, especially with a lot of the team chemistry and like morale issues. Some of these guys are visibly frustrated, and Kerr continues to change the lineup at different times of the game. Obviously they won 2 in a row, so maybe things are turning around for them. But they haven't performed well when the books have them as dogs. They've lost 9 straight as dogs and went under their team total in 7 of those games. To me, I think both teams struggle offensively today. Neither team plays at a fast pace. Both teams are in the top half of the league in defensive 3-point percentage. The Warriors are actually 7th best in 3-point defense. And the Celtics, they don't go to the line a ton. They don't send opponents to the line a ton either. If we look at home road splits as well, the Celtics average 11.5 points per game less on the road than they do at home. And the Warriors are the opposite. They average almost 6 points per game less at home than they do on the road. So for me, a lot of things are telling me to take the under in this one.
So generally, when the Warriors don't have Draymond Green in the lineup, it affects, in my mind, them really on both sides of the court. The defense isn't as good, and the ball movement goes through Green, and without him, it's something that affects them both side and total, but you don't know necessarily which way to go with the total. And yet, for Golden State of late, with Green out, they're now 4-1 to the over without him. So that low post defense hasn't been there. And Boston's certainly a team that's capable of taking it to the rack. Do you worry at all that the Celtics are just going to pound the paint and Green's absence really gets felt on the defensive end of the floor tonight? Because that is my biggest concern about this under. I certainly agree with you in theory.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Especially, I think one thing to think about is the status of Porzingis. Obviously, he's going to be that dominant low post player, but he can also spread the floor as well. I think he's going to be a key person to worry about. That's the reason why I haven't touched this game personally yet, is because we don't know Porzingis' status. But to me, I think what I've seen historically, throughout the season, is on the road how much the Celtics have struggled, and they continue to do that. No matter who they're playing. The last two times they went from a home game to a road game, they went under their team total by 17 and 13 points. And then on the opposite side, you touched on Draymond and how he affects both sides of the ball. Obviously, they don't look as smooth offensively, and they've been giving up a little bit more points on the defensive side of the ball, which is why they've gone over. But if you combine that with the fact that the Celtics struggle on the road offensively, that's why that's what kind of pushed me towards the under, is just that combination of struggling offensively with the Celtics, and then the offensive struggles for the Warriors there.
Ronald, you got to bet for us on Portland and Phoenix. What is it? And there'll be no follow-up question on this. Teddy.
I like the over on this one, mainly for the reasons on the Blazers side. But if we look at the Suns here, they're 14-12 on the season. Obviously, not doing as well as a lot of people expected. They've actually lost 6 of their last 9 games, failed to cover in 8 of their last 9 games as well. This is the first of a 2-game road trip following 5 straight home games. Usually, when I look at that type of situation, I tend to fade those teams. So slight lean towards the Blazers as well. They don't play again until Friday against the Kings. But the Blazers side, 6-19 on the season on a 7-game losing streak. They did cover their last game. This is the 4th of a 5-game homestand as well. So they've been sitting pretty at home. But this is a third game in 4 nights, but not second leg of back-to-back games. So not as bad as a back-to-back on that situation. Okogie, Lee, and Beal are out for the Suns. Grayson Allen is probable. Shaedon Sharpe is the guy that could make some impact here as far as being questionable. First thing that I look at here, the first time these two teams played this season, the total was 223.5. The Blazers were 12.5 point dogs. The Blazers lost 107-120, but they were missing some key players. Scoot didn't play. Anthony didn't play. That's a lot of offense, and they're going to be back this time around. That offensive impact shows in the total, going from 223.5 to 232 now. And then also not a lot of defense. Once you put Anthony Simons back into that starting lineup, their defense starts to struggle. He came back 6 games ago, and if we look at the numbers from 6 games ago compared to the full season, Blazers offensive rating in the last 6 games, 116.3. On the full season, 108. So that huge jump offensively. Then their defensive rating last 6 games, 124 compared to 115 on the season. So their defensive rating drastically changes as well. The Blazers, I know, during the season, their 3-point defense has been really good, but the Suns only score 31.1% of their points from the 3, which is 22nd in the league. So they don't have to shoot for the 3 ball to win these types of games. Majority of the Suns' points actually come from free throw line and 2-point range and mid range, and the Blazers allow opponents to shoot, I think, 49% from the field, which is 6th highest percentage allowed in the league. So the Suns have a lot of opportunities here to score. And then also, if you look at some of the statistical interactions, they allow the 3rd most points per game in the paint. And then on the side, 11-3 to the over as favorites against teams with a losing record. The average combined score there is 233.7. So really close to what the number is. But if we just look at some of the recent form of the Blazers defense, that is kind of what pushes me to the over. I know the Suns haven't been consistent on the offensive side of the ball lately, but I think this is the type of matchup that kind of gets them right.
Right.
Defensively, they've been struggling, allowing opponents to go over their team total in 11 of their last 16 games. I don't think that's going to change either. So for me, everything or most things are telling me to look towards the over in this one.
Ronald Cabang, wonderful stuff. And guys, remember, it's Customer Appreciation Day. Ronald's got a NBA play up for you all. doing really, really well in the NBA. So check that out. Teddy, we still got Dave Sharapan coming up. Guys, if you want to hear a daily presidential address, please get us to 125 likes. I did have a winning day for you yesterday in the daily presidential address, 2-1. Teddy, as we wait for Dave Sharapan, let's do a little bit of marketplace. And what I want to talk about are the Rams and the Seahawks, and we'll talk about them sort of combined. Both of them are vying for the playoffs. The Rams are minus 110 to make the playoffs. Seattle is minus 160, and I think that's largely based on the schedule. The Rams still have San Fran up at the end of the season, and Seattle doesn't. Talk to me about these two teams, the Rams and the Seahawks. Are they buy teams, sell teams, and which one of the two or both do you think will make the playoffs?
So I've got a bet on Seattle over 8.5 wins. My clients and I do. I've got a bet on Seattle to make the playoffs. And I haven't changed in my assessment of Seattle as being a team that still has some potential, and the markets are telling you. The fact that they're minus 160 to make the postseason and LA's minus 110, schedule-wise, it makes a big difference. Seattle down the stretch at Tennessee this week, Pittsburgh at home the next week, and they close out at Arizona. There's no reason in my mind to think that they can't win those 3 games, but the Seahawks don't do anything easy. The Rams sometimes do things easy. From a point spread perspective, LA's been a far better team than Seattle in recent weeks, but Seattle's faced a juggernaut of an opposing schedule in recent weeks. When you talk about facing, the Rams, the 49ers, the Cowboys, the 49ers again, and the Eagles over the last 5 weeks. Baltimore before that, things ease up for them down the stretch. But buy or sell, at this stage of the season, Lawrence, there's not a lot of buy or sell for me. It's 1 week at a time. This week, coming off the Monday night win, the huge Monday night win, I'm not convinced I'm going to lay a price with Seattle. But I do think that there's more hope right now for the Seahawks than I would probably give for the Rams. The Rams are playing good ball, though. They're both pretty good. What do you think?
And Matt Stafford looks like he's back and in sync. Teddy, for me, I think somehow Seattle is going to screw this up. They have an easy road, and somewhere along the line, they're going to mess this up. I like the Rams, dude. I like the Rams at minus 110 to make the playoffs. I think the Rams are a tough team right now. Not a team I wouldn't want to face. When Matthew Stafford is on, he is on. And he's got weapons everywhere. Their running game has come together beautifully. This is a scary team to me, and they might get a San Fran team that doesn't need to win the game on their last game of the year. We'll find that out, but I'm not with you, man. Somehow Seattle's going to mess this up. Dave Sharapan, do you have an opinion? The Rams and Seattle.
Great. Buy or sell with 3 weeks to go is exactly what the books want you to be talking about. They want you to be making bets on making the playoffs with 3 weeks to go. I think Teddy said it best when it's now more than ever week to week. I don't know. When you look at that, obviously Seattle's number tells you that Seattle's going to win probably all 3 of those games. I don't want to jinx it for Teddy and his clients, but I don't want to jinx it. But that
don't you go
like,
there.
I know, but that looks like they go 2-1 at worst, and that should get them in. The Rams
both could get in.
They both could get in. The NFC's a mess, boys. The NFC is a mess. So, Prez, it's good to see you. I can't believe we were 15 minutes away for a week and you were in hiding. And now, are you fighting the sickness that everyone else is?
I invited you for dinner. You didn't even respond.
I responded. And you gave me 15 minutes. You said we're going to dinner in 15 minutes. I said, how about 40? And you said, we'll be done. And I said, thank you. And then I reached out one more time. And
Dave,
you said,
listen,
you got knocked out. That's it. Fine.
There's nobody named Dave I would rather see when I come to Vegas. That is a fact. but I come to play cards and I come to disappear. I got knocked out early. We had a last-minute dinner. I'm sorry, but I'm greatly appreciative that you invited me to come watch the UNLV game with you on my last night of the trip. I couldn't move. Like I literally I was in bed at 8:45 that night. So,
Yeah.
but it was appreciative. I appreciated it a lot, man. Thank you. Teddy,
All right.
get some actionable info out of this guy.
No drama. On Tuesdays, we have no drama. It's the end of the year, and there's no more golf. So I just try to get all the Prez words in I can before Teddy starts talking.
Garage, roof, water.
Go
Super
ahead,
Bowl odds updated.
Yes. I won a Super Bowl.
49ers.
Yes.
49ers are 3-2. These are Westgate Superbook numbers.
Yes.
49ers are 3-2. Baltimore 11-2. Kansas City 7-1. Dallas, Buffalo, Miami, Philly 12-1. Detroit 20-1. Jacksonville 30-1. Everyone else a prohibitive long shot. Who's going to win? What's the best bet at those numbers?
Isn't it San
No
Francisco? Isn't it San Francisco? I mean, who's going to
feels
San
like San
Francisco
Francisco.
winning a game? That's all I'm looking at now. I need to know who's going. You're always looking for what you can't see in the book. That's the way I always did
Detroit?
it anyway.
I think
Detroit beat San
Detroit.
Fran?
I think
In a
Detroit
one game,
is yeah.
I think in the NFC, it's not Dallas anymore. I think Dallas got
Detroit to me.
exposed against Buffalo. And I think Dallas has real issues with going on the road and winning a football game. We'll see this week. I mean, they're only 1.5-point dogs against Miami. It's less against Miami than it is against Buffalo. What does that tell you? It tells you some guys that look at numbers and stuff are talking about Buffalo being better than everyone else except Baltimore. So those are the teams I'm looking at. It's chalk. San Francisco and Baltimore could be the Super Bowl here in Las Vegas, which would be incredible. If that's the two fan bases that come here, okay. If we get a week to talk about that in Vegas, okay. I think this place will be overrun with San Francisco people. So it's very chalky. But in the NFC, I think you guys are both thinking right. I think Detroit's the obvious one. They got to win their home game. They're going to have to win a road game. They could go on, but can they do it twice and get San Francisco to last one? Possibly. I don't think so, but that's the only one I think can do it. Buffalo is the legitimate. If they get in, that game on Sunday, that can be played anywhere, whether it's north, south, east, west, the moon. If they run the ball, that was the thing that held Buffalo back.
Yep.
If they run the ball like that, Teddy, they could beat anybody in a one gamer.
I totally agree with you, Dave. Buffalo is going to be scary if they make the playoffs, and it's still a big if, man. They got Miami to get through as well, and even if they win out, they still might not make the playoffs. But I'll tell you right now, Dave, don't sleep on the Rams. I know it's crazy, but Matt Stafford can go into San Fran, a turnover here or there by Purdy. Don't sleep on the Rams. This team is better than people think. I'm a huge fan right now of the LA Rams from a betting perspective. I'll be on them this week at -4.5. Teddy?
Let's make a bet, Lawrence. Rams over under playoff victories. I got the under a half win. You got the over a half win.
Dude, they're -110 just to make the playoffs. I'm not giving you.
You're so high on the Rams.
Okay,
So
how
in other
about
words,
this, Teddy?
you're high on the Rams for the yip
we'll put
yap,
an
but not for
eyebrow
actual
on
money in your pocket.
We'll do an eyebrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like the Rams to talk about them, but it's not anything I'm going to get money out of my pocket to actually go bet.
This sounds like
we're trying to find value bets, dude. Anyway, Dave Sharapan, do you have anything going on tonight's college football game? We did not discuss it, and the people in the chat room are asking.
No, I have nothing yet. I'll do the show today with Matt, and maybe we'll come up with something together. But that game yesterday was I don't know how you live up to bowl games after the yesterday. That game was 28-0, Old Dominion's winning, cruising along, and I got away from watching it, and then it came back 28-14. I said, better start watching this a little bit more. It's the epitome of bowl season there, at least the silly season, when you got games with a lot of teams that maybe not you don't know about. I think you have to tread cautiously. I think you have to listen to people that have a real opinion, and then you have to just accept the fact that you may end up with a backup quarterback who never played before and get in and throw 4 touchdowns, and who knows what happens. So, no, to answer your question, nothing on today's bowl.
Guys, 6 more likes if you want a daily presidential address. Teddy gets some more actionable info out of him.
Sure. So we talked about today's bowl game. What else stands out to you in terms of upcoming bowls? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? You've got your finger on the pulse in Las Vegas. Give us dish out some goods on the bowls for this week.
I haven't got one thing from it. I went to the basketball game, and then I ended up in the same place. Well, not the same place that Prez was, but I was out with the flu for 5 days. Today's the first day I can sit up straight and talk in 5 days. So I haven't heard anything about the Bulls. They've taken the approach of, I think you said it to me, and I might have said it to a couple of the guys that I was out with before I got sick. It's NFL preseason. It literally is NFL preseason. There's the lack of action is overwhelming as far as just the general interest and level of action in years past. But it's been crickets. It's been really, really quiet, and not frustration on like a couple of the book guys that I know. It's just like ho hum. Like we'll do the games that get a couple bets, but it's not the same as it was. Everybody's looking forward to the playoff games, and you know that's it as far as the bowl games. It's been nothing but buzz about NBA, Pacers totals, the Lakers, and their lack of, I don't know, not care, but they've lost a couple games since that in-season tournament. All the usual stuff here. It wasn't much to do with the bowl games.
We've got just a few minutes left with Dave Sharapan at SportsBKConsig on Twitter. He is an excellent follow, and of course, the guy does plenty of media on a daily basis, so he's not a hard guy to follow and track down if you want to watch Dave Sharapan give his opinions in the sports betting world. You talked about the playoff games, New Year's Day. At least let's say we got something for New Year's Day for these guys. Who do the pros like? Who do the Joes like? Who do you like? What stands out for you?
Gigantic liability on Alabama. Everybody's talking about it. Nobody's taking Michigan. Nobody. Pros, Joes, squares, rhombuses, parallelograms, they're all on Bama. And can't say they're wrong. I mean, we still have time, and I don't think there's going to be any earth-shattering bombshells of somebody's not playing. I think at least we know about those 2 games that everybody's playing, everybody's healthy. There's no coaching, getting suspended, or any of that stuff. So I know to every book on planet Earth, including the ones on Mercury and Uranus, they all need Michigan. Huge, huge. The other game, they're actually getting more, I guess, professional money on. There's a lot of people that like Washington that have them. I didn't think it would be that divided, but there's a lot of the publics on Texas, and some guys I know have tickets on Washington to win outright. So I think that'll be one of those ones that might be bet favorite, lay it, dog, money line. Books will just want something in the middle. Texas win and not cover would probably be perfect.
A 3-point Longhorns victory, the best case scenario for the books here in Las Vegas. Dave, before we let you go,
yes, sir.
College hoops right now, it's a little bit of the silly season in college hoops because they got kids dealing with exams and you have more seemingly random occurrences in college basketball, the one-off games. What are you seeing? What are you hearing when it comes to college hoops right now? Any teams stand out to you as particular bet on or bet against?
No, not particularly. I know a lot of guys that I know have really been trying to concentrate just on the totals, and they've been doing pretty well. So college basketball totals, a couple guys I got first half overs. They've been watching a couple specific teams. I didn't get the list from them this week, so I'm sorry I didn't see that. But no, this is when it starts, right? This week, next week, we get through it, and then some conferences are starting conference play for real. So we'll start to see it get a little more heavy. We'll have a little more information as far as the college baskets go. I got guys buying futures on college baskets right now. They must have 8 to 10 teams in the portfolio. It's wide open. It is wide open.
Dave, one last thing. We really didn't look much at the NFL card for this coming weekend.
Oh.
Do you have any bets that you've seen, like, personally going to make?
The guys I know already laid Buffalo. Any number they could get below 10 or 10, up to 10, they've laid. So that thing's going to fly. I don't know what the resistance point will be for that. Let's see. Atlanta against Indy. I don't know. That's I was going back and forth with some people. How does Indy lose? How does Atlanta win? You tell me. That's one that if they won Atlanta, they can have Atlanta. Detroit, Minnesota, virtual playoff game. We just talked about Detroit. It's only 3. Be very careful with that one. Jacksonville and Tampa. I like Tampa. I've been talking about Tampa for 2 weeks, thinking that Tampa's the side. I think Tampa's the side there. Arizona, Chicago is a game that no one's probably going to be looking at. I love that game. I think you take the points, any points you can get, you take in that game, right? That's a back and forth, back and forth. Who knows what's going to happen? Chicago believes. Arizona keeps playing hard. That's it.
Dave Sharapan, everyone, what do you got to promote?
Bostonian versus the book, Friday. Yes, sir. Sports Grid Sirius XM 159 every day, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're on every night there. Bostonian versus the book is at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific. And cash considerations will be back this week. The boys are back. Vacation, sickness, everybody's back. Happy holidays. By the time we talk next time, we'll have had a Super Bowl preview on Christmas night between the Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. Game's going over, Prez. That's your Christmas present.
I agree with that, Dave Sharapan. Get out of here, brother. Teddy, we did make it to well over 125 likes. I know we're running short on time. Quick daily presidential address. Daniel, son, cue it up. Guys, it's WagerTalk's Customer Appreciation Day today. Every single handicapper on the website pulled out their favorite play, put it up for only $2. I have an NBA play up for you guys. It's a 4% play. Those are very, very rare. I'm on a 7-3 NBA run. So check that out. It is only $2. I also have 2 college basketball plays and an NHL play all over at WagerTalk.com. I have 3 bets for you guys tonight in the NHL. Yesterday on this video, we went 2-1. Today, we're going to go for a 3-0 sweep. I like Boston in regulation against Minnesota. The Wild fought strong last night, played a hard-fought game against Pittsburgh and lost. They're on a back-to-back. I don't like the spot. Take Boston in regulation. I also like the over in the Ottawa and Arizona game. And my favorite play of the lot, I know it's minus 170, but that's the New Jersey Devils after their humbling loss to Anaheim. They are playing Philadelphia, who has played over their heads and are going to regress. That's it for the daily presidential address. We had Dave Sharapan coughing throughout it, gave it a little bit of color, some musicality. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you all tomorrow, everyone. Teddy, take us home.
Thanks for watching Wager Talk today. Like Lauren said, we'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and tomorrow's show, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your wagers.